Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of an internet glitch. Are you guys still here? Can we just go look at the chat box? We apologize about that. We're back. We're ready to move forward. Are you guys here? Just go to the chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you for being here. We had a little bit of a challenge. All right, so let's go quickly into it. We're talking about the difference between a product and a service. Now, I was saying every business offering has some kind of a product or a service that they render to their customers. But exactly what are products or what are services? To start off with, a product is a tangible object that has been put out for consumption or possession. So if you say that you are in a business that provides a service or product, it means that you're in a business that has a tangible object that has been put out for consumption or possession, such as a drink bottle, a pen, whereas a service is an intangible item where the customer is being sold something that can't be touched, such as an accounting service or coaching service. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what is the difference? A product is a tangible object. So companies that actually, produce products, you look at the likes of Coca-Cola, you look at the likes of Big, which is a pen, you look at the likes of Lenovo, which produce laptops. But then there is another form of business, which is known as services, which is an intangible item where a customer is being sold something that can't be touched. When you speak about services, you look at companies like KPMG that renders accounting services. You look at companies like like Africa Tikkun that we are. We also, we're in the business of, we're in a service business, basically, where we don't produce products, but we offer intangible items, while as companies like Coca-Cola produce tangible items, and most products have an element, and it's important for you to know this, most products have an element of a service in them, all right? For example, when purchasing a product like a pen, the service is engaged when employee sells it or hands it over to the customer. So when you say that you produce a product, does not mean that you don't render a service, because there's always an element of a service. So basically, products are objects that are manufactured, stored, transported, advertised, then sold. And services are actions that are performed, such as providing medical care, hairdressing, business coaching, uplifting, and what I'm doing right now, training, is a service that I'm rendering. And services, unlike products, are consumed at the same time that they are produced. All right? The difference between a service and a product is that services are consumed at the same time as they are produced. What does that mean? Right now, I'm training you, I'm offering you a service. You are consuming the knowledge as I'm producing it. While as when you go to the shop, when you go to Pick n Pay, when you look at bread, one thing that you often realize, there's always that part that says, what is it? To be consumed before, the 15th of April. So products aren't always consumed, the same time as they are produced, but services are consumed as they are produced. All right. Now, with that being said, buyers will always have to conduct research and need to provide information, and often their physical presence for the service to be conducted. What does that mean? When you are in the business of rendering service, you often always need the physical presence of your buyers. While when it's a product, you just produce it, you package it, and then you send it over to the market, and it is sold whenever it needs to be sold, as long as it is sold before the day that it expires. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the difference between products and services. When you're in the business of producing products, you're in the business of providing tangible service. When you're in the business of rendering a service, you're in the business of intangible services. Product can be consumed whenever post-production, but services are consumed as it is produced. So again, today, based off of the questions that we've been asking, based on what you've identified in your environment, what would you say that you are currently looking at being in the business of? I want maybe the next 5 people to answer me this question. Based off of where you think you want to position yourself. Do you think your positioning in business could be product orientated or it could be service orientated? So what you're going to do, just a quick response on the slide, you'll just write product or you write service. I want to know where are the categories of our candidates falling between. You know, okay, I see somebody responded service. Where are you finding yourself? I see product, service, right? You think I can see, like, because that is, can I see? I see people are there, product, service. I see the interaction is getting much better now. Products. Seems like people know more products are winning. More people are in the business of rendering, producing product. I see there's a lot of product, Nice. All right. You guys responding as swiftly as you are makes me understand that you understood the difference between a product and a service. All right. Wonderful. Now, the next topic of discussion is why should you define your offering? Why is it important for you to define whether you're in the business of producing a product or you're in the business of rendering a service? So why do you need to define your product or your service thoroughly? This is important to have clarity in order to have a defined vision around what you do and what you sell. Defining your offering is important because it also dictates your vision around what you do and what you sell. Because to succeed as a business needs to know exactly what they are selling to their customers. You know, to succeed as an entrepreneur, you need to know exactly what are you selling to your customers. Are you selling them a product or are you selling them a service? This will allow focus, which helps businesses to know how the product or the services sells best at a location of appropriate market. Clarifying your product offering helps define to your users, which will lead to define target markets. When you clarify your product, it helps you define your users and also helps you define your market. I want to reiterate that because I feel that's important. When you clarify what business you are in, it helps you clarify who your customers will be and also helps you clarify your target market. Because from here, businesses can work out how to access the target market. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand why it's important to know which business you are? Because the understanding of which business you are gives you access to firstly understanding who your client is, the target markets, you know, your target market and how to access that target market. I see a round of applause there. Thank you for that. And when you understood how to access your target market, it obviously by default leads to more sales. And why should you define your offering? It also, you know, it is all about having a clear definition and goals so that your whole team can stay on track, so that you as an entrepreneur can stay on track. After defining every aspect of your product or your service, you will be able to define other parts of the marketing that you need in your business. When you define either your product or your service, you'll be able to define many other things. You'll be able to understand, you know, your competitors, who are the users of your service, and your unique selling point. I mean, we spoke about this last week, you know, what makes your product unique. But it all stems off of understanding, what do I do? Do I produce a product? Is what I have as a business tangible, or is what I have as a business intangible? And this, dear friends, will lead to successful marketing and focus. Now, we spoke about why it's important to define your offering, but let's talk a little bit about how do you define your products or your services. All right. One of the first steps to defining your product or your service is to, you know, firstly figure out which of the two it is. I mean, we just spoke about it now. Firstly, you have to figure out, am I in the business of producing products, or am I in the business of rendering service? Once you've decided on whether you are a product or a service person, you will then have to clearly define your product or your service so that you have a clear vision of what you do and what you sell. And one of the best ways to do it is by beginning to look at what you currently have. Look at what you currently have. I would imagine most of you don't have websites because you firstly haven't even defined what you have, but you have to look at what you currently have. What do you have with you? What tools are in your possession that you are able to deliver your product? Then think about your product or your service that can solve an extra problem that you have. That is why we said in the first week, identify a problem in your environment or in your world that you can potentially solve and turn into a business. And in defining your product or your service, it helps to write out a full and detailed description of your profile and your service. I want to challenge you guys this week, as you've identified yourself in terms of your positioning, that you are a product person or you're a service person. I want you to take time this week. This is outside your homework. This is, I always challenge you guys every week in the training session. Clearly define what is your product. Clearly define what is your service. Is your product, cold drink? What kind of cold drink? What flavor of a cold drink? Will it be fizzy? Will it be produced from 100% juice? Will it be processed? Like, you need to have a clear definition of your product. And your service, what kind of service will you offer? Will you be a coach? What kind of coach? There are different kinds of coaches. There's business coach, there's fitness coach. Will you be a service provider, a training service provider, or a consultant? What kind of consultant will you be? You really have to clearly define, your product or your service, and be sure to include the following things. These are a few things that you can consider in defining your product or your service. Define the core purpose of your product or your service, what it needs to address, what problem it's coming to address, what struggles does it have to come and alleviate in your environment. Number two, you need to define your user base. Who will be your primary users? Who will be those that you'll give your products to? There's most drink companies produce drinks, but not every drink company produces drinks for the same purpose. Coca-Cola produces drink for leisure. When it's a cold, heated day, you can have Coke, but that's not what Monster produces a drink for. Monster produces drinks for energy. If you are low in energy, drink this drink, it brings you up back in energy. So that's Red Bull. So you need to define your user base. Dear friends, I believe it's very important. Why? Because again, I would say, when you begin your business venture as an entrepreneur, you have a tendency to just want to get anybody as a client. But rest assured, a clear definition of who your customer is from the beginning will dictate your business going forward. I've seen companies that have rejected clients, big multi-million clients, because these clients were not aligned to their service offering. Friends, I want you guys to really begin to think about that. Point number 3, in description of your product and your service, define your user needs. What does your user need? Based on the problem that you identify, in describing your product or your service, what will be the need of your user? Number 4, define your product's function. What should it do? What does it address? Does it address a need or a struggle or a want? And who will it service? I want to challenge you guys this week. Write it down, a detailed description of your product and your service. Define the criteria of your product success. Define the product's foundational element. And I believe that this will help you think about the product, what the product looks like and what it includes and who it will need to make, whose life it will make a difference out of the two. All right. Are we still here? Are we clear on that? Are we clear on the importance of defining our product and our service and taking a bit of time? Wonderful. I see that hand. It means that we are all together. So remember, the topic of today's exchange is, people and prospects. And I took a bit of time to talk to us about the difference between a product and a service and why we need to define it and how we need to define it, because I actually wanted to get to the crux of my exchange today, which was customers, because the theme of today's exchange was people and prospects. From the first week, we focused on you. The second week, we focused on the product. This week, we're focusing on the people. We're focusing on the customers. We're focusing on the consumers. So let's start and, let's talk about it a little bit, let's talk about the customers, because that's the focus of today's exchange. What I changed in the beginning was just to give you a little bit of an understanding. So in definition, what exactly is a customer? Who exactly is a customer? A customer is an individual or a business that purchases another company's goods or services. Right? A customer is an individual or a business that purchases another company's goods and services. I'll say that again. A customer is either an individual or a business that purchases another company's goods, products, and services. Customers are very important because they drive your revenue. They are the ones that bring you the money. They bring your business money. Without them, your business cannot continue to exist. In fact, you are in the business to serve customers. You are in the business to serve customers. All businesses all over the world compete with one another to attract customers. I often ask myself, as well known as Coca-Cola is, what need do they have to continue marketing? We already know them. When you see companies advertise on TV, when you see companies advertise on billboard, all they are doing is they are competing for our business as the clients. All businesses all over the world compete with one another to attract customers, through advertising their products or through lowering their prices. I mean, you look at Pick and Pay, Checkers, and ShopRite, they all sell the same things, but then they have deals, where one has low prices. What are they doing? They are competing for customers. In the world of business, dear entrepreneurs, dear future entrepreneurs, I want you to know that customer is king. Customer is king. Why? Because they are the ones that have the purchasing power, and they are the ones that bring money into your business. And it is important to understand your customer. Now, check this out. Oftentimes, we say we want to get into business and we want to render a service or we want to produce a product. But you know what's the one thing that we don't do? We spend a lot of time understanding our product. We spend a lot of time on disciplining ourselves as individuals, working hard to be hardworking entrepreneurs. We spend a lot of time defining our product, deep diving on what we want to sell or what we want to produce. But one of the little things that we don't often do is we don't give ourselves time to understand our customers. Which is one of the things that I want to challenge us. It is important that we also spend time understanding the people that we want to render this service to. We need to understand our customers. Who are these people that we want to render our service or sell a product to? I've always had a challenge with this statement, but it's I guess in adage, everybody accepts it, the customer is always right. Not every customer, but in most cases, the truth of the matter is they will hold the purchasing power. They will hold the money that you need in your business, because a happy customer is more likely to award repeat business to companies who meet or exceed their needs. Did you know, just as a matter of interest, I want you guys to know this, especially for us young entrepreneurs, one of the mistakes a lot of young entrepreneurs do, I find even on social media, is that they spend a lot of time marketing their business, asking people to share their business on their timeline, maybe because one of their clients will be in your timeline, but they spend little time rendering a service to their client. I've seen young entrepreneurs market their businesses on Twitter or even on Instagram, so busy marketing that even when they get one client, they don't render them a good service because they are so busy marketing, but they are not busy delivering the service that they are promising that they would. But I want you to know this. Did you know that it has been researched and found, remember this, that one happy client can potentially bring you 10 referral business. So which means one happy client can potentially bring you 10 business, but one unhappy client can potentially make you lose 100 potential clients. You guys hear that? That one happy client can potentially bring you, 10 clients through referrals, through telling people that you render a good service. But one unhappy client can actually influence 100 potential clients from coming to you. So it is very imperative, guys, that you understand who your customer is. And when you do get a client, make sure that you meet and exceed their needs, because a happy client, 10 potential referrals. But an unhappy client, one bad review, my goodness, 100 potential clients that stays away. That is why you see big companies are all on Twitter now. As soon as you complain about a business on Twitter, immediately their public relation officer is already there to defend. They're already there to try and make amends. Why? Because one unhappy client influences 100 people, but one happy client only influences 10 people. So guys, customer is king because they hold the purchasing power. It's important to study your customers. Businesses frequently study customers' profile to fine-tune their marketing approach. It's very important that as you are deciding to venture into business, study your customers around you, study the market that you want to involve. Because bigger businesses, they actually fine-tune, they study customers so that they can fine-tune their market. That is why you find that oftentimes when businesses are marketing or they are advertising, it's so target-orientated. It's so to the point. It's so tailored. Why? They've spent time understanding their customers. And what is often done is that customers are often grouped according to their demographics. May I inform you something? Do you know that there is no such thing as streetwise KFC in Japan? Do you know that there is no such thing as a bully burger in America from McDonald's? Why is that? It's because when McDonald's came to South Africa, coming from America, they understood that this is a different kind of people. And these people, their famous food to eat is, booty, they love booty burgers. So what they did is they created a booty burger. And what they also did, KFC decided to study the customers, the community. So what they did is they grouped people according to demographics, according to their age, their race, and their gender, and they said, let's produce something called streetwise. And that's why you see in the advert, they would use this, a guy from the township, he's walking, he's wise about the street, he's a hustler, and they'll produce that. They will sell, they started selling streetwise meal. And when you see that advert, you're like, wow, yeah, this person, I can relate to them. So when you go to KFC, by default, you order a streetwise meal. How was that? How did they come up with such a marketing strategy? It's because they studied their customer. A KFC customer in South Africa is not the same KFC customer in Japan. A McDonald's customer in America is not the same McDonald's customer in South Africa. So you have to study your customer, which means if you are in the business of selling a product and you are from the township, how you market your product in the township cannot be the way you market it in Sandton. The way you use, for example, in the township, you can market your product by going door to door. Your aunties and your uncles will see you, they'll open the door. In Sandton, you do that. Next thing you know, those, I forgot, what do they call the name? Those ADT will just rock up in front of you and be like, hey, gentlemen, what are you doing here? Because it's a different customer base, it's a different environment. You know, it's important to study your customer, study where they live, study their age, study their life, study their, you know, even in politics, I've found that politicians have become very customer orientated. And those who have understood it are really doing politics very well. But you know, again, I'm not here teaching you on politics, but I'm teaching you on the importance of studying the people that you want to render your service to. And this information helps your company deepen its understanding and its existence in its relationship with its customers. Customer services that strive, they strive to ensure positive experience. They strive to ensure a positive experience to their client. And obviously, by default, create loyalty in the form of favorable reviews. You know, favorable reviews in terms of, you know, referrals, and in terms of positive criticism. You know, when you begin a business and you're rendering a service, open yourself up. When you render a service to a client, you know, be open to reviews from them, whether it be good or whether it be bad. You know, it's also part of understanding your customer and understanding what they want, understanding how they want their product to be packaged, understanding how quick they would have wanted you to render the service, understanding how quick they would have wanted you to, you know, maybe respond to their text and so forth. So it's always about you ensuring that you give your client positive experience from the moment that they come to you to the end of your service rendering, and always, always, always allow yourself to receive reviews. I mean, you see this even when you call centers, F&B call center, at the end, they'll tell you, please give us a review. When, you know, after you've been into a hotel, they will send you an email. They'll say, please rate our services. Why is that important? Because the criticism that you as a client give to the company, it helps them be better. So as you as well, as an individual, always be also open to receive reviews and criticism. And always remember this, and this, I hope this can help somebody. The people, your clients don't have a problem with you. They probably just have a problem with the product or the service. When they are criticizing, they are not necessarily criticizing you. They are criticizing either the product or the service. So don't take it personal. Take that in as a way of, you know, receiving information so that you can do better and improve on how you produce your product or improve on how you render your service. All right. I want to now talk about something that I thought that was important. So we always talk about customers and we always talk about consumers. And oftentimes those words are used simultaneously, but actually they are not. You know, these words are nearly synonymous and are often used interchangeably. However, there exists a slight difference. What is the difference between a customer and what is the difference between a consumer? Now, consumers are defined as individuals or businesses that consume or use goods and services, while customers are the purchasers within the economy that buys the goods and the services, and they can exist as consumers or alone as customers. I wanted to use a very simple understanding so you can know the difference between a consumer and a customer. Let's take a mother of a child, for example. Let's say that you are in the business of selling baby powder. Not baby powder. Let's say you are in the business of selling Pampers. That's the product that you produce. The customer in this instance is the mother, but the consumer in this instance is the baby. Did you guys understand that? So there's a clear difference between a customer and there's a difference between a consumer. A consumer is the one that consumes the goods and the service, but the customer is the one that purchases, is the one that has the buying power. Is that clear? So the mother is the customer because she went to buy the Pampers, but she will not use the Pampers on herself. The person who will then use the Pampers is the child, the one that consumes it. We've often been told that we are a consumer generation. We are a generation that just consumes goods and services. Now, a customer, like I said here, can exist as a consumer or just as a customer. If you're a customer, you can also be a consumer. So let me just say this. Every customer can be a consumer, but not every consumer can be a customer. Is that making sense to somebody?
No, it is not making sense to me, Glenn.
All right, it's not making sense to you.
It's not making sense to
Okay,
me.
cool.
I think you need to say it again.
All right, let me say that again. Okay, using the baby and mother analogy, right? So I say, if you are in the business of producing Pampers, all right, that's your product. The customer in that instance is the mother who buys the Pampers, but she's not the consumer because she doesn't buy the Pampers to use it on herself. The consumer is the baby who uses the Pampers for herself because if she pees or she poops, she can make use of the Pampers. But then I also say in certain instances, the customer can also be a consumer. If you are in the business of producing cold drink, you are the customer, you buy the cold drink, and if you like that drink, you drink it. So you're also a consumer. But we don't always consume what we buy. So that's why I say every customer can be a consumer, which means the customer can buy the cold drink and drink it. But not every consumer can be a customer because if the baby wants Pampers, they don't have money to buy the Pampers. So every customer can be a consumer, but not every consumer can be a customer because to be a customer, you need to have money to buy. Oh, I see a tick there. Great, we've understood. I'm glad. Marilyn, now we get?
We're good.
All right. Very important to know the distinction between the two. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about the client's base. A company customer. All right. Okay, just take a bit of a break. Let's see. Where do you see yourself? Are you more of a consumer or are you more of a customer? Can I just see responses? If you are a consumer, just write consumer. If you're a customer, just write customer. I would imagine that you're all customers, but or maybe you are both. I like Tokozani, smart person, said both. Yes, I see, oh, that name is quite nice, but very difficult, slow. She said, so the customer is more important. Absolutely, the one who has the money is more important. But you know what companies do? By the way, let me just tell you. Sometimes, this is why it's important to study your customer. Sometimes for companies to get to the customer, they use the consumer. That is why you'll find companies marketing things to children to force their parents to buy the product for their children. Sometimes companies use the consumer to get the customers to buy. So they will market something, they will come to schools and market something for children so much that when the children go home, they will force their parents' hands to go and buy that product. But that's all about, that happens when you understand your client, when you understand your customer. Guys, are you understanding that starting a business is not just, you just wake up one morning, I'm gonna do this. There's a lot involved, a lot of intelligence that is involved in it. And that's where I want us to get to. Like, I want us to be intellectual entrepreneurs. You need to really understand firstly your product, your service, and understand your customer. Remember last week we spoke about your customer's pain points. What makes them tick? What can you touch in your customer that can make them, purchase? So yeah. Now, over to a company's customers. What is a client base? All right, a client base is a company's primary source of business and revenue. So a client base consists of your current customers paying for your products or services. All right. Oftentimes, client base, and obviously I'm just trying to give you clear understanding. There's this saying in the West Africa, it's in French, even though I'm Zulu by birth, but I know French. So there's this saying in French that says, no, l'argent appelle l'argent, which means money calls money. Oftentimes you'll find in business, even yourself as an entrepreneur, for you to get business, people will always ask you, can I see the service that you rendered to other clients before? They'll always ask you, can I see the work that you've done before? Why? Because when clients have seen what you've done before, it gives them confidence that you can be able to reproduce the same quality experience or same quality service to them. So it is important for you as an entrepreneur to have what we call, and you'll begin to hear this word a lot, a client base. A client base, okay, I see someone asking a question, is liable to repeat here. Okay, can you please note this question down? I'll answer it because I just can't read it now. All right. Thank you so much for the question. I've seen it. I will respond to it. I think, guys, just in interest as well of participation. If ever you guys have questions in what I'm saying, don't wait until the end. You can also put it there. The team will just copy and paste it, and I'll answer at the end. All right. So let me just go back to what I was saying. A client base is it consists of your current customers that are paying for your products or your services. A client base can be identified or defined in many ways depending on the type of industry. But in simple English, it's your existing clients, those that you currently have. Your existing clients. Now, it is important to understand your client base. All right? Finding new customers and maintaining the existing client base is a major initiative for any business, since without clients, the business cannot earn revenue. Companies put strategies together to increase, their client base. They use things like networking, word of mouth marketing, referrals, or, developing speciality in their areas of expertise. Staying in touch with their existing client, ensuring appreciation for clients, and consistently meeting or exceeding expectations. All right, guys, I wanted us to talk about this because I felt that it was important that as you enter into business, enter into it once you've understood your client, begin to build a client base. The only way you can have a client base is by how you render a service from one client to another. And never neglect one client for another. There is never one client that is more important than the other. They are all equally important. And it is important that you render them a great service so that you build up from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And one of the strategies that you can use, referrals, word of mouth, networking. This enables you to continuously increase your client base, but always be conscious of the current clients that you have while pursuing new clients. All right, guys. Now, how to approach your client base? An existing client base is the means of generating the majority of your revenue. And attracts significant amount of attention. Businesses that spend too much time prospecting for new clients while ignoring the existing client run the risk of losing their client base. All right. So that's why you will see companies sometimes have client appreciation day or client appreciation dinner. Or sometimes when it's a client's birthday, you'll see companies, maybe you haven't seen it, but companies do things like that. They are present. Company like us, Africa Tikkun, we've got a client relationship officer where their responsibility is just to maintain a good relationship with our existing clients. Because it's always easier to get recurring income from an existing client as opposed to get, income from a client that you don't know yet. And it's also always easier to upscale, like to upsell, your business is to your current client than it is to sell to a new client. And that's why I say businesses that spend too much time prospecting, spend too much time trying to get new business while ignoring the existing client, run the risk of losing their client. Guys, I want you to know this. It is not easy to get a client. It's not easy to get clients. So when you do get one client, when you get someone willing to take out money for their pocket to pay for your service or to pay for your product, you have to treat them with the utmost respect. You have to treat them with the highest of care, make them feel special. Because oftentimes, when a client is comfortable with you, they have no reason to go elsewhere. But when a client is tired of you or they've been constantly disappointed by you, they will never come back. And behind, like I say, behind one client, behind one happy client, there's always 10 potential clients. But behind one unhappy client, there's 100 potential clients that you lose. So guys, a good relationship with your current client is always important. And one of the tools that you can use to obviously attract clients, it's advertising and marketing. There is a section in this bootcamp where we'll really speak about marketing. I can see you guys are beginning to see that the word marketing is coming up a lot, but we'll speak about it in detail. Advertising and marketing. Now, I know as a startup, you don't have the budget to market yourself on TV. You don't have the budget to market yourself on the radio, but guess what? Your Instagram becomes your new market. Your Facebook is your new market. Is your new TV. Instagram is your new TV. Your social media are now your new TV. That's where everybody watches. That's where everybody hears about businesses. Big brands have gone from being on TV to being on social media. You should do the same thing. You may not afford radio, but you've got your WhatsApp, you've got your Instagram, you've got your software. All of this is important because it creates what we call brand awareness. More people know about you. The more people know about you, the more you are able to attract clients to you. So you need to put yourself out there. No matter what business you are involved in, you need to put yourself out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Are we all clear on that so far? So before we go to the next point of discussion, which is basically, finding your target audience, I felt that it was important that we understood what we spoke about in terms of a client base. You firstly have to work to build a client base, and client bases are only built by quality services. I see a question there. Please just note that down again for me. I'm going to say that again. The only way you build your client base is by rendering quality service. Excellent service, delivering on your promise. What you said you will do, you do. That's how you begin to build your client base, one person at a time. Now, we spoke about using tools that you can use to help you to attract this client. So now we're going to talk about steps to find your target audience. Why the word target audience? Now we are speaking to an entrepreneur that has understood its product, has understood his service, has understood the kind of clients they want. Now you have a targeted view. So now you're not just marketing to everybody. Now you're not just selling to everybody, but you have a target audience that you want to attract. I don't know for you guys, maybe you've never had it, but there's this thing on Facebook. If you have a Facebook business profile and you want to boost your post, or maybe some of you guys who's ever boosted your post on Instagram to get more likes, you will see that Instagram and Facebook will always ask you, who is your post trying to reach? They'll ask you the age of the post, the age of the people that you're trying to reach. They'll ask you the area of the people that you're trying to reach. Why? Because they want you to target your post to a certain target audience. So what are the steps to finding your target audience? You know, the buying process is in the hands of your customer. And marketers must create targeted, personalized experience for people if they want to be the one to grab their attention amongst many other brands, amongst many other clients. All right, guys. Now, this is speaking about marketers, but like I said in the first day, when you start a business, you are marketing, you are sales, you are accounting, you are HR. So you need to understand that the buying process in the hands of the customers. So you therefore have to create targeted, personalized experiences if you want to be able to grab the attention of your audience. Guys, don't just go for any client. Don't just go for anybody. Make sure that your approach in business, your approach in getting customers is targeted. You know, when you have a comprehensive understanding of your ideal buyer, you can make more informed decision about how you project yourself in the media, how you message. You'll understand, for example, you know, I always like the way Nando's, for example, markets itself on social media. It's really targeted to the audience that it wants to attract. But believe you me, I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, the kind of things that the jargon that they use. They will never use that to corporate people, but because they're using it to street smart people in the Twitter space, which is their market, they have to speak like them. So even in your environment, in your branding, dear friend, I would advise you when you market your products, if it's in a community that does not speak a lot of English, you have no need to impress them with a lot of big jargons. You know, speak to them as you've understood them. Use their language. Use even your choice of color for your marketing. It has to be aligned to your audience. All right. So now, what is a target audience? Your target audience refers to the specific group of consumers you most likely want to, you know, for your product or your service. Your target audience refers to the specific group of consumers most likely to want your product or your service, and therefore the group of people you would like to see targeted in your ad campaign. Target audience may be dictated by age, gender, income, location, interest, or environment or other factors. You know, depending upon what you sell, your target audience might be a niche or even broader. For example, if you were a shoe vendor, you know, and your target audience will be broad. Since men and women and children wear shoes. On the other hand, perhaps you specifically sell high-performing running shoes, for example, then your target audience will be more niche, elite athlete between the age of 20 and 40. You have expressed an interest in running or have run a marathon. I'm going to explain that again just for ease of interest in terms of just reading. Your target audience always depends on what you sell. If you're selling shoes, then your target audience is broad because both men, women, and children wear shoes. But if you decide to sell athletics or sport shoes, then your target market changes. It means your target market is only for those that are athletic, only for those that go to the gym. So it gives you sort of a niche, you know, it gives you sort of a positioning. All right, guys. It's always important to know your target audience. Now, what are the examples of target audience? Target audience is centered around a specific group of people. These can be men, these can be women, this can be teenagers, or they can be children. But you have to sort of have a target audience. Who are you selling your product to? And for who are you rendering your service to? It's important to know your target audience. For your business, is it men, women, children? You know, I always ask, perhaps I'll do research. I always wonder, does first for women, the insurance company has any men that they are covering that insurance? because their marketing strategy is solely focused on women. Even the way they advertise, they only advertise to women. Even the color of their car is pink to attract women. Now that's a business that is understood its target audience. And it goes by the name First for Women. So as a man, you wouldn't even bother to look there to be covered. And they even say in their slogan, it says insurance specifically for women. And they're making money. This is very important, entrepreneurs. Like again, I said it at the beginning, important to know your consumer, your customer, and your audience, because when you start business, we have tendencies just to accept everybody, but that shouldn't be the case. Know your product, know your service, and know your target audience, and focus only on them. And if you focus only on them, and you succeed in rendering them a great service, believe you me, your company will do well, even if not everybody is your target audience. All right. Now, what are the benefits of knowing your target audience? As an entrepreneur, understanding your audience is important. This definition, this information will define your marketing plan and your strategy to execute. When you understand your target audience, somebody said something very challenging, and I want maybe to think about it. For those of you guys like watching SABC, have you ever by any chance see an advert of Rolls Royce? If you ever by any chance seen an advert of a Bugatti while watching SABC 1, SABC 2, SABC 3, and ETV, have you ever by any chance seen that? No. Why? Because Rolls Royce target market don't sit and watch SABC 1 and ETV. So how does Rolls Royce make its money? Rolls Royce makes it money by marketing itself where its target markets are found. Wherever there is an airport, you will see there is a Rolls Royce. Wherever there is big events, you will see that Rolls Royce is around there. In certain environments, in certain places, you will see Rolls Royce there. Why? They've understood their target market. So they don't waste their time. So you as well, you cannot be in the business of selling bags to 50-year-old, but you are there on Instagram and you're on Facebook, selling bags and shoes for 50-year-olds. Your customers are not on Instagram. Your customers are not on Facebook, but where are they? They are in the church. They are in their get-togethers. So you need to know your customers so you can know where they are, and your marketing strategy can speak to where your customers are. Am I making sense to somebody? I hope this is really helping me to understand where you need to, channel your energy. Sometimes we channel our energy everywhere. I often see some people sell, they sell this, that old women like to. They sell knitting kits. They're selling it online. These women are not online. These women are in the shops. These women are in community centers. That's where you should be selling. You should look for a community place and ask for a setup so you can put your stuff there. Then when they are passing, they can see and they can buy. Sometimes our businesses are failing, and I know a few of you during our business one-on-one spoke about how the business but it hasn't succeeded. Maybe because you didn't understand your target audience. Maybe you were selling to the wrong people. Maybe you were advertising in the wrong place. I hope that this exchange today will actually help you, that you need to know your target audience so that you know how to strategize and execute your marketing strategy. What are the types of target audiences? Target audiences can be segmented further into categories that refer to intent, location, interest, and many more. All right, and I always gave you guys, the example of Rolls Royce. You will not see advertising on TV. When you see Mazda on SABC, it means the target audience can afford it, but never will you see them there. Your target market, you target them based on their interests, based on their purchasing intention, based on their culture, you know, and you need to know these things. So guys, you understand that being an entrepreneur is not just produce a product or render a service, but you use your brain, you use your intelligence because you really want to get to the people that have your money. Guys, everything that companies do in terms of adverts, in terms of marketing, in terms of, segmenting, it means in terms of targeting, it's all to get you to spend. They want your money. They are after your money. But they know that they won't get your money by telling you, hey, we are Coca-Cola, give us your money. No, they have to come to you in a way that is interesting to you. And that's what we have to learn from the big corporates. We have to learn to also approach our clients, in our communities, in our environments, in the way that is interesting to them. Don't be those kind of entrepreneur. Hey guys, I'm just starting my business. Please support the black business. Support the black guy. No, don't look for pity. Be interesting. Make yourself attractive. Because oftentimes when you already have an approach of begging, people will tell you, I was doing you a favor. You charge a fee of 10 rand, they'll tell you, my man, I'm doing you a favor, make it 5 rand. But if they go somewhere else and the person charges 12 rand, they will never complain. If you ever wondered why people in your environment always ask you for a discount that they will never ask for ShopRite, it's because of how you market yourself. You are out there begging small young, support a small young business there. But ShopRite will not tell you support us. ShopRite will tell you, buy this because it's good for you. It will help you. It will solve a problem for you. And that's the approach that we need to have. Don't be looking for supporters. In business, we don't look for supporters. In business, we look for customers. So let me help you. Stop using words like support my business. Use words like use my product, or buy from us, or use my service, not support. Support is for beggars. All right, guys? Great. Next thing I want to talk about here is, we're running out of time now, the difference between target audience and target market. The target market is the set of consumers that a company plans to sell to or reach with marketing activities. But a target audience is a group or a segment within that target market that is being served advertisement. This makes the target audience a more specific subsequent of a target market. In simple English, a target market is like a mother to the target audience. All right, because the target market is the set of consumers that a company plans to sell to or reach to. But a target audience is, it's sort of, so a target market is like the big group. So for example, let me make it easy for you to understand. A target market is a group of women that you want to sell your shoes to. But a target audience is the teenagers that your shoes will be mostly consumed by. So you sell shoes for women, but your target audience is actually the teenagers that you want to reach because they are the ones that wear high heels, as opposed to much more older women. So there's a difference between a target market and a target audience. The target market is more broad, the target audience is more defined. And it is also important to understand the roles of your target audience. An important step in understanding your target audience is to go beyond learning their demographic information and understand what role they play in their path to purchase. And these roles can often be divided into the following categories, right? This target audience of yours, are they decision makers? This target market of yours, are they supporters? All right. So sometimes also it's very important. You will see it in the service business that when you're speaking to someone, immediately you need to identify, is the person that I'm pitching my service to a decision maker or just a supporter? or are they the door to the decision maker? Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we spend a lot of time explaining our business and our products to people who will not have the decision power. They don't have the purchasing power. They are just maybe the supporters who will give you access to the decision maker. So it's important to know those target audience so you know how to channel your energy to whom. All right. Now, in the interest of time, there are 7 ways to determine your target audience. I don't want to run with it. I just want to make sure. Am I making sense so far, guys? Are you understanding so far? If I'm making sense, are you guys understanding what I'm exchanging? Oh, yes, I want to see your thumbs up. Give me 50 thumbs up. I want to see them. Yes, give me those thumbs up. If I'm making sense, somebody raise their hand. Raising hand is for questions. Just give me thumbs up. I need yes. Oh, you guys are smart. Marilyn did say you guys are very smart. You guys are very smart. You understand the space. I'm happy. At the end of this exchange, if nobody asks questions, I will ask questions. Now, in interest of time, there are 7 ways to determine the target audience. To determine your target audience, you must spend time analyzing the data you receive from consumer engagement, evaluating current buyers and purchase trends and optimizing your new information. Consumer engagement is also very important. That's why you see companies, again, they're sending emails after you've been to their place or reconsume their product, they'll ask you from 1 to 10, how would you rate our product? How would you rate our service? I mean, even in apps right now, after you drop a WhatsApp call, they'll ask you rate they'll ask you to rate the quality of the call. All of that is part of, getting feedback. Now, these following steps should help you in how you ought to realize your audience. Number 1, you need to analyze your customer base and carry out client interviews. I spoke about it before, the importance of seeking feedback from your clients. Number 2, you need to conduct market research and identify industry trends. Do research, around your industry to determine where the holes are in the service or the product that you render and how you can fill those holes. Number 3, analyze competitors. Marketers or entrepreneurs can learn a lot by looking at competitors. Learn from those who are doing what you do. Learn from those who have been doing what you want to do. Learn them. Be their student. And in learning them, you'll also be able to identify the holes that are in their service that your service or your business can actually fill. Number 4, create personas. Creating persona is a great way to drill down into specific segments that make your target audience. This is very helpful if you have a product that appeals to a wide range of consumers. Different personas will allow you to determine general demographic, different personalities and needs that your target market needs. All right. Number 5, define who your target audience isn't. That's very interesting. You need to define who isn't your target audience. I've been saying this a lot so that you can know who and ways to channel your energy to. If your product is first for women, you have no business marketing it to men. Unless, like I said, you can use the consumer to influence the customer. You can influence the women so that you can push their husband to buy. All right, but always define who your target audience isn't. And number 6, continuously revise. As you gather more data and you interact with your customers, you have to revise. A wise man once said, there is no evolution without evaluation. You will not evolve to anything in life if you don't constantly evaluate. If you don't evaluate yourself, you won't evolve as a person. If you don't evaluate your business on a consistent basis, you won't be able to evolve. And the last one, out of interest for those who are tech savvy, make use of Google Analytics. This is obviously a data site that you can visit. The information there can sort of give you insight in terms of how to channel and how to find your your target audience, and so forth. I want to end off by this just to give you a bit of an understanding on how to reach your target audience at the right time. When marketing today's empowered consumer, it's not only about knowing ways to reach them, but also when to reach them. You know, when you use certain apps, they will even tell you when is the hot time for you to market, when is the hot time for you to post. Because as consumers become more adept to running, tuning messaging out, marketing in the right moment will pay you dividends. So there are several important things that you ought to consider in terms of your marketing. You need to consider. So even in terms of your posting online, you need to study it. When do I get the most interaction when I post during the day? And you can even go in the background of the social media app that you use. They will tell you when are your customers mostly online for you to mostly market. But some of the channels that is mostly known that may not be affordable for us right now or for you as a startup entrepreneur, but you need to know one of the channels is television. TV till this day is still relevant, though not, viewers are no longer on TV. That's how I was telling you today. Twitter has become like a TV. This young rapper was saying, by the time it's on TV, it's already old news to us. So if you want to be up there, be where the people are. Television is one of the platforms. I mean, the whole world was influenced by a television. Radio is also a platform of influence. Emails, are platforms of influence. Newsletters are found. Content newsletters are a platform of, of reaching out to your audience and, so forth. So our previous adults or previous companies use platforms like TV. They use platform like, email. They use platform like radio. But you've got social media. I see people selling their product on TikTok. I see people selling their product on Snapchat, people selling via WhatsApp, people selling their products on their Facebook market, people selling products on Instagram, and Instagram as a shop as well. People selling product via YouTube. These are the TVs of today. These are the radios of today. These are your email segment of today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've officially come to the end of our presentation of the day. I hope this session was informative. I hope that you learned something new. I hope that you've understood or you'll be enlightened even further. Thank you for those who are giving a round of applause. Much appreciated, much appreciated. As these are habits, are there any questions?
Lots of questions in the chat. So it doesn't change with organization. So not a person, but an entire group of people is there. Yes.
What is the question? Is it advisable to adapt to the change in your client base? Because companies like Nokia and BlackBerry fell off because they didn't want to adapt. 100%. I think I spoke about this last week when we did product deep dive. And I said that it is important for a company to be very adaptable. What was relevant last year wouldn't be relevant today. And I absolutely touched on Nokia and I touched on BlackBerry. I explained that, for as interest, Nokia actually used to hire 75% of the population in Ireland at one time because they were the biggest phone company in the world. But what made them fall behind is their lack of adaptability. BlackBerry is worse. BlackBerry went from having a business model of business to person to business because they couldn't adapt to the change. They wanted to continue with their BPM and they fell behind. Apple, that we did not know as a phone manufacturer, we knew Apple for computers. Samsung did not even start as Samsung was even known for appliances, but now they are top 2 in the world. Why? The ability to adapt. So as a business, you have to, and that's why again I say today, You need to study your consumer, you need to study your customer. The change in their buying habits, the change in their mannerism should also dictate how you as a business change. If you don't stay relevant, you fall out. So definitely agree, you need to be flexible. Survival of the fittest is not to the strong, not to the smartest, but to the one who's most likely to adapt. Okay, next question. Is it advisable to be picky of our customer base when your business is in the early stage? Because sometimes the customers you don't want your brand to be associated with are the ones supporting and bringing profit to your business, helping it grow. So like I said, as an entrepreneur, when you start off, we have a tendency to just want to take everybody, we just want to take anybody who wants our service. But it is important that you firstly, even though you are accepting them in the beginning, because you also need to build a client base. Remember, the only way you build a client base is by servicing one client at a time. So you will need them so that you can be able to show referral for work that you have done. But if you already can tell that this is not my client base, this is not the customer that I'm after, you have no business keeping them long in your business, because they will deviate you and from what you actually want to achieve. Because let me give an example, just a simple example. If you're selling shoes and your plan is to sell shoes to teenagers, but because you started off selling shoes and now you're even selling it to mothers, if you don't realize that in the long run, I have to focus on teenagers alone, your marketing strategy will be very confused, because now you don't know how to channel all your energy and your strength. So in the beginning, you may entertain looking at one or two people that may not be your ideal customers to build a client base, but as you build, make sure you are only targeting your market, your target audience. You're only targeting those that you want to service. Right? Hope I'm answering you guys proficiently. Is there anybody that has any question? Where is that brave person that wanted to be unmuted? Are there any question for me? I am very happy. So I see Hermes, that's it. We understand the difference between customer and consumer. What's the difference between a client and customer and consumer? All right. The only difference is the English. A client is a customer. Yes. So a client is a customer. So if you understand the difference between a customer and a consumer, the customer is the client. The one who buys becomes your client. The Hermes doesn't allow anyone to buy their Birkin bags, even if you have the money to buy them. Only a handful of their clients are invited to purchase. Exactly. I mean, I remember one day Tommy Hilfiger arrogantly said, I think in Oprah, or he said in a show, he doesn't like the fact that Black people are buying his brand. He said it, go Google it. He said his brand was not for Black community, it was for a certain upmarket people. So, and he was clear on his target market. It may have sounded arrogant, but that's a man that understands his market. He may have sounded like he's pushing Black people away, but when Black people started boycotting him, he didn't change. He still made money because his target market was there for it. There was this drink, what is it? For those who watch rap, there used to be this gold champagne that all the rappers should advertise on their, I forgot. But there used to be this champagne that all the rappers, I forgot the name. You guys don't watch this thing? No. I see it, it's in gold. I don't know, it was gold. Isn't that the one for Jay-Z? Mm. So no, actually what happened, there was another one. Crystal. No. Crystal, yes, this person, yes. This one knows. So Crystal was a big brand, and Black rappers were using that as a statement for their videos. And until Crystal made a statement that they did not like the fact that Black people were constantly using a drink, out there, it's making it lose value because it looks like it's not a cheap brand. And Black people got upset at that, and that's how Jay-Z even got inspiration to start his own brand of that late age stay that you spoke about and said, you know what, if these people don't value our money, we're gonna create our own brand. So Crystal might have sounded very arrogant when they did that, but they were clear to their brand. They didn't want to be associated with everybody because now it made their brand look very cheap. Okay, any other question? I know we are not at the level right now of saying this person will make my brand look cheap, but have that in the back of your mind one day. Not every client ought to be your client. Okay? You guys are smart people. Thank you for being available today. We've come to the end of today's exchange. There's going to be, yes, there's going to be airtime that is going to be coming to you guys. Please don't be excited about those things that will come in bulk. Somebody sent me a heart. Was that a heart to me? I appreciate it. You know, don't be excited about the airtime that will come in bulk and use it all. We still need you guys to be logging in. I could tell that some of you guys were having internet connection problems today, logging in and logging out. So it's going to come to you this day or this weekend, and it's going to be your homework. The homework that we're giving you this week is going to be more research based. Guys, the homeworks are only getting tougher. So you have to apply your mind, you have to apply your intelligence, you have to apply yourself. And I hope bit by bit, you're getting forward. Thank you so much to the company that says thank you from the rest of the team. Very informative session. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be in touch. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh. Done.
Are you